The handshake deals are a memory. The loyalty of the old guard, that's a luxury of the past. Welcome to the era of the arms race. In the 919, the battle for the future isn't just happening on the hardwood, it's happening in the bank accounts. Down in Durham, it's the machine, a proven system, and the steady hand of Jon Scheyer reloading for another run. But in Chapel Hill, the blueprint has been ripped up.
Welcome to Season 8, Episode 16. In the 919, the weather might be a perfect 70 degrees, but the heat in the recruiting offices are at an all-time high. For decades, the rivalry was about legacy, lineage, and the Carolina way. But the rules of engagement have just changed. We are officially in the era of the arms race. In Durham, Jon Scheyer has this machine running. He's stacking 5 stars, locking down 2026 recruits, and he's proving the Duke brand is bulletproof. But down the road in Chapel Hill, the blueprint has been ripped up. Mike Malone didn't come from the NBA to play by the old rules. He's bringing pro-level schemes, championship rings, and a massive NIL war chest to the table. The gap is there. The chase is on. Today, Darryl and Will are breaking down the 2026-2027 roster, the multi-million-dollar targets, and the battle for the future of the triangle. Can Malone close the gap, or is Scheyer's lead too big to overcome? Let's get into it.
The Blue Blood TV podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, guys, these shows grow when you share them. So we have a great show here. Share them with all your friends. Make them aware of the Blue Blood TV podcast.
Welcome, guys. What's up? How are you guys doing?
Haas, what's going on, man?
Going on, Haas? Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon.
The weather is beautiful in the triangle, man. The weather is just beautiful. That's what's going on.
It's too nice to be stuck in here recording a podcast, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually recording this podcast on my beautiful screened-in porch, enjoying the weather, but it looks like I'm in the studio. Darryl, what's up with you, man?
I'm chilling, Haas. I think outside probably waiting for me, but I figure we can get through the podcast first.
Okay, are you guys ready for this spring? I mean, this postseason seems to be like as exciting as the season. What do you guys think? I'm really enjoying the whole NIL, the transfers, it almost reminds me of European soccer. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's all over. It's all over the place right about now. I'm really enjoying the effects of the current state of college basketball and college sports in general. But it's definitely an interesting and entertaining transfer portal NIL era that we're living in right now.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, I love it, man. It gives us something to keep an eye on, something to talk about. I mean, it's just exciting. Gives us something to look forward to, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to start out like talking about market value. And these questions go out to both of you. Okay. There's a $20 million question. We're looking at a combined NIL valuation on the Duke roster and the Carolina roster for the 2026-27 year of $20 million, and it could go higher. Now, if you're a booster right now, are you putting money on Jon Scheyer's proven ability to land #1 high school recruits and a few guys in the portal, or Malone's professionalized program and the lure of NBA talent? Who wants to take that one?
Darryl, you want this one?
I'll let you have it this time. We missed you last week, so I'll give it to you this time.
There we go. You're a gentleman and a scholar, man. I appreciate it. I would roll with Malone, man. I mean, obviously, everybody knew my answer. It seems to be pretty predictable here, but Jon Scheyer's proven what he's going to do with 5 stars. So it's going to be next year. They've got another #1 recruiting class. It's just going to be more of the same. And I think with Malone and the coaches he's surrounding himself with, who are known to be solid recruiters, especially on the East Coast, I just think that the ceiling is higher for what Malone can bring in and what he can do next season.
Okay, Darryl, you?
Yeah, I mean, to Will's point, I guess that, Scheyer has proven what he can do, right? He shows us year after year with the 5-star recruits what he can do. I think that I am interested in seeing Mike Malone right now. He's a question mark. I told you last week that I really enjoyed. I really, really, really do like the hire, but also there's still questions that need to be answered. And we know what Jon Scheyer is going to do. We know he's one hell of a recruiter. He has been since Coach K was there. And since he took over for Coach K, he's done nothing but improve the team each year. And unfortunately, obviously, leading to a heartbreaking loss this year, but still quality teams, quality year after year, great records, but no championships. So the question mark is with Mike Malone right now as far as what he can do with the portal. But Jon Scheyer has pretty much proven year after year what he can do.
So, Darryl, you got Cameron Williams, you got Darren Rippey, you got Bryson Howard. I mean, and these guys got a lot of size. 6'11", Cameron Williams, 6'2", Darren Rippey, and Bryson Howard, 6'4", wing. Do you think he's going to combine that with some of the players from last year? I mean, do you think any of those players are going to stay? Do you think Slim's going to stay? Do you think Sarr's going to stay? I mean, what do you think is going to happen here, Darryl?
Yes, it's a lot of questions out there right now as far as the future and the construction of this roster. Like you said, number one recruiting class, right? The number 2 overall player in the country with Cameron Williams at 6'11". Bryson Howard is the number 1, the number 5 small forward. And then you got Rippey, who's the number 1 point guard. And not to mention Meyer, who's a 7-footer, right? Anytime you can acquire 2
6'11", Darryl.
Yeah. Anytime you
come on, Darryl.
6'11".
Yeah. Anytime, as I was about to say, anytime you can acquire 2 footers, basically, right? 2 7-foot guys, essentially. I think that you improve your team tremendously, especially considering the fact that one of them is the second best player in the country coming out of high school. I think the question marks really right now lie with the players who are currently on the roster, which would be Isaiah Evans, who I think is gone, Dame Sarr, who I hope stays, but I think could go, considering his international pedigree, his pro pedigree, already playing internationally before coming to Duke. You got Hamenya, who entered the transfer portal, but there's rumors that he could be coming back. Darren Harris just decided that he was going to leave and go to Indiana University. I think overall, I meant to mention Caleb Foster and Caden Boozer as well. I think if they can get Caden Boozer and Caleb Foster back, those would be great guys to bring back. I don't think the other guys are coming back, but I think if they can get those guards back at Duke to go with the guards they have coming in, that'll give them depth that they didn't have this year. So I think there's still big question marks with the guys that are potentially returning, but I like the class that I'm seeing coming in, along with some of the guys that might be coming in and being acquired during the transfer portal.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about Carolina's transfer portal and NIL targets. Let's talk about number 1. I think the biggest guy on that board is Juke Harris. I kind of like that name, like Juke. Like I love
it, man. He's
6'7".
flashy. He's flashy too. He's a big guard. He's 6'7", and the guy averaged 21 points per game last year with Wake. So he's got the skill to be able to compete in the ACC at a high level and score at a high clip.
Yeah, and I heard Mike Malone went to Salisbury. That's how you say it? Will Salisbury, North Carolina, for a hard push on Juke. He's competing against Michigan and Tennessee. And I heard through the grapevine that he offered like $3 to $4 million to Juke for one season. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love it. I think $3 to $4 million is what it's going to cost to bring in a big name point guard. And if you look at any of the rankings in the guys in the transfer portal, he's in the top 2 or 3 in every one of them. I mean, he knows the ACC.
I hate to interrupt before we get this far. I don't know. You guys probably missed it as breaking news. They're projecting that Juke is going to Tennessee. That came out like 30 minutes to an hour ago. Just a heads up. I hate to burst your bubble, but I love to do it all at the same time. So so you know.
It's all good. So it's funny that we got in because if you look at the crystal ball 2 weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was for Juke, he was 100% Michigan all the way. And then we got in with the Mike Malone hire. I mean, apparently Tennessee's got big SEC dollars to throw his way. I heard he was going to cost upwards of $4.5 or $5 million as much as. So that means that Terrence Brown Jr., the kid from Utah, then is probably a lock to come to us. And he scored 20 points a game in the Big 12 for Utah, so he can compete at a high level as well. He would. What's interesting, Haas, is that I think he would be the smallest guy on the roster at 6'3". So Malone's going to surround a tiny guard with a whole bunch of big men, essentially, which I think is pretty interesting.
Okay, so let's talk about, and I've got to pronounce this name right, Neoclis Avidalis.
Yeah,
What do you think about him?
The fans don't expect you to pronounce it right, Hassan. It's okay.
Like Ngongba. Like
Yes. We haven't gotten it right for the last 2 years. And then
Okay.
Hamenya, thank God, he said he's leaving because Hassan cannot pronounce my freaking name right.
So tell me about Neoclis.
He's I think he's 6'9", 6'10". He's a kind of a wing from Virginia Tech. Kid can score. He's one of those Eastern Europeans. I think he's Greek. I mean, and the kid can score at a pretty high clip. He did pretty well for Virginia Tech. I mean, in the scouting reports that I've seen on him have been positive, man. He's a pure shooter, great size, great length, great defensively. So everything I've seen, I'm excited about that one.
All right. And, let's just talk about, the cat that got away or is getting away. What happened with Mingo? What happened?
I think at the end of the day, when his brother decided to transfer from Penn State, I think they're a package deal. And I don't think from what I've heard anyway, it came down to money. I just don't think that we offered him enough. And we really don't have a spot for his brother is kind of what it boils down to. I think that the two of them being a package deal and looking for a big payday is just kind of the deciding factor,
Okay. All right, Darryl, question. We're going to talk about the Jon Scheyer machine. Okay. Are you ready, Darryl?
I was born ready, Hassan.
Okay. So you're defending the 919. Okay. So Darryl,
yeah.
Jon Scheyer spent 3 years and he's built an incredible recruiting machine of high school one and dones, right?
Yes.
Does the arrival of an NBA champion in Chapel Hill change the pitch at all? And does it just point to the scoreboard of the Brotherhood, or do you just keep it moving the way you have it? Do you have to change things?
No, I don't think you change. When it comes to the high schoolers, no, would be my answer. I think when it comes to logic, as far as how he's constructing his team, sure. I think that he could do more in the transfer portal. I think recently he's relied on 5-star recruits, right? Again, we have the number one class yet again, but the number one class at best has led us to a Final Four appearance. And I think even that, especially, it led us to one Final Four appearance last year against Houston.
One since 2015.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I can't speak on since 2015, but since Jon Scheyer took over, one, right? And we talked endlessly about how that Houston game ended specifically, and even to an extent how this UConn game ended this past year in the Elite Eight. The problem is that he doesn't have the experience on the team. The problem is that the guys are young. Well, how do you find a happy medium between experience and quality when you're talking about bringing people in? Well, that's the transfer portal. And while he might have 3 5-star recruits coming in this season, he could probably use somebody who's a 4-star quality that has 2 years of experience. And so I think when it comes to a shift, the shift needs to be approach and construction with the transfer portal. I think he still does the same thing with the high school recruits. And I think he could utilize what he's done with the high school recruits and pitch the same pitch or a similar pitch and those dollars, as we talk about, to somebody from the transfer portal, because they could use it right about now.
So, but with that, if he does go to the transfer portal, he's made promises, right? So these number one picks, he's made promises, right? That they're going to play. But if he goes to the portal, does that change some of the promises he's made? And could that disrupt the chemistry of 5-star recruits coming in and playing?
No, I think it's about getting a good mix, Hassan. I think you have to be honest with the guys. Okay, you've made promises to the current 5-star recruits you have and the other recruits you have. You are reasonably logical with your transfer portal, right? And you even talk about he's got 2 big men coming in. He's got 2 guards, but he doesn't have any incredible wing players. And I'm talking Hamenya, who is thinking about transferring. I'm talking a 6'5" Darren Harris. Like, he needs to go into that portal. One, he needs to go and try to reel Haminia back in. I think at 6'8", the guy is a good shooter, even though he didn't show it this year. His history in high school, at least, was to be a good shooter, hell of a defender, 6'8" forward. Like, he can use that right now. And if you go into the portal, he can use more of that at the 3 and the 4 to go along with what he's bringing in 5-star recruits and 4-star recruits from high school. So I think that you're not breaking promises. You're not necessarily bending when it comes to those promises that you've made with these guys that you have coming in. But you have to tell those guys, listen, we want to win the Natty. And to be able to win the Natty, I got to bring these other guys who have the experience.
Yeah, Darryl, though, the problem that I see with that, man, is that, like, the way to do it in the transfer portal is to bring in guys with big game experiences from a Utah, from a West Virginia, like, or Virginia Tech or wherever, where they're just not getting the exposure that you would at Carolina or Duke. But do you really think a guy who's averaged 18 or 20 points at one of those schools is going to go get buried behind a bunch of freshmen and 5-stars on a roster like Duke?
Yeah, no, I think that's why I wouldn't approach the guys who are in similar positions, point guard, shooting guard, and as I mentioned, the big men that they have. I wouldn't approach those guys that are averaging 18 to 20. It's unrealistic, especially if you've already made promises. But there are holes that they can fill on this team where there are no promises made because they just don't have the personnel. And so I think that's how you approach it. Now, I also would approach it saying you will still get the same exposure. You might not drop 18 to 20, but I'm not going to bury you behind these guys. I'm going to give you the exposure necessary for you to get to the next level. But just understand, very similar to Calipari years ago, I'm bringing you in to get to the next level. So there won't be the same conversation next year. You come and get it done now.
Well, Darryl, my opinion is you had one Final Four appearance, and that was probably Duke's biggest loss of, the whole rivalry, and that was to Carolina. And so what I would say is the one and dones haven't worked, right? Like, it hasn't worked. And what we have seen is that college basketball is going to grown men, big grown men sitting in the paint who have experience. And I want to talk a little bit about experience. Last night I was watching the Charlotte game, and LaMelo had the ball. And I realized, I said, LaMelo's never been in the playoffs. Like, does he know how to play crunch time basketball? And my gut said, no, he doesn't. He's learning on the job right now. So I think, like, the problem that with one and dones is they're going into an environment, they're going to go into the NCAA tournament without this experience and the building blocks that, let's say, a Caden Boozer got last year. Now, if Caden Boozer comes back, he can build on what he did last year and then potentially take a 5-star recruiting class to a national championship. And that's what I think is going to be the conundrum of Duke is, do you still focus on 5 stars, one and done, get those commitments, or do you go out, spend money, and bring in proven athletes? And with that, Will, we're going to go over to the Malone era. Are you ready, Will? You ready for the
I am,
Malone?
man. I'm stoked.
Okay, let's talk about the Mile High pitch. That's what we're going to call it, okay? Malone spent a decade in draft rooms, trade negotiations. When he sits in the living room with a top recruit and he can pull out a ring, NBA ring, talk about coaching Nikola Jokic, does that make, like, the traditional blue blood pitch from, like, a Jon Scheyer look outdated? What are your thoughts?
I don't know if it makes it look outdated. It's definitely a different way to do it. And I think as we move into the NIL deal where you're going to have more of these kids from Europe who have been playing professionally over there kind of slide into college basketball, I think it may be the new and improved way to do it. I'm excited, man. He's known as a player's coach. He's developed guys. I mean, you remember Joker was drafted, I think, 41st overall, and people were kind of unsure about him, and he kind of helped him develop into what he was or what he's become. He's worked with guys like Steph Curry and LeBron, and he's been around the NBA for a while. So I think that just that and him being able to flash those names and what he can bring to the table is going to be huge for kind of bringing Carolina basketball back to where we know it can be.
So in the last pod, which you weren't on, and Will, we're so happy you're back, and we're so happy you're back on the pod. Darryl and I were talking about a time frame, and Darryl, I'm thinking like that prime time frame is not 1 or 2 years. That's the old model. I think that Malone has to show his success immediately. He's got the money. He's got to show us he can recruit, and he should be able to put together a team that can make a deep run. And I would say a deep run for Malone with the war chest that he has is a round of 16. Darryl, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I just think that he has somewhat of a reprieve when it comes to his current roster. I mean, yeah, he could use a transfer portal, sure, but this won't be his first full season of recruiting, and he has 2 players, right? Like 2 players right now on the current roster.
Who are the 2? Who are the 2?
We have more than that. We've got a roster. We've got Dallas. We've got Jaron Stevenson coming back. Jaden Young coming back. We've got Maximo Adams, who's a 5-star that's coming in. We have Malloy Smith. And,
right. So out of the players that you had,
from what I've heard too, from what I've heard too is we've been in talks with the Stars agent to see if he can go to try to bring him back. So, I mean,
right now for sure,
there.
how many do you have coming back that you had played decent minutes?
5, 4, 3.
Yeah,
5,
we're
4,
counting
3.
down. We're counting down 2-1. But yeah, I think that there alone right there is going to be Mike Malone's break. Now, if they go out and spend $20 million and get these guys, if they get 4 to 5 guys that are studs, which I don't foresee happening completely, I can see maybe 2 or 3 guys. But if they get 4 or 5 studs from the transfer portal, then Mike Malone's expectations are going to be through the roof or the ceiling, whatever Michael Jordan would say. But I think that they're not going to get that, and he's going to get a full year to recruit, and he'll get a break the first season as long as it's not atrocious.
Okay.
Duke Carolina fans, download Duke Carolina, the Blue Blood Rivalry film on iTunes or Apple TV or wherever you get your VOD downloads.
Hey, Queen, you know you my guy, right? I'm always pulling for you. Night, when you step on the court, I step on the court too. And we in it.
There's only 2 games that matter. It's the North Carolina game at Duke and the Duke game that's at North Carolina.
When we wake up on game day, there's a knot in my stomach. We've been up since 6 a.m. this morning watching recorded Duke Carolina games.
I watched the Rivers shot
about 15 times.
Yeah.
Rivers on his own. Yes, at the buzzer.
We're here for the Duke game.
And it is 10 hours and 9 minutes until game time.
The Blue Devils win 85-84.
Nothing better than North Carolina and Duke. It is the best rivalry in all of college basketball. Hall of Fame coaches, great players, and usually so much at stake.
And that's it. Carolina's won it.
The fans have as much to do with the rivalry being great as the players and the coaches.
It's 5 hours before game time.
Well, there's no question that the rivalry is there every day in our community.
Can you imagine what it would be like around here if people didn't have it? It would be terrifying.
We are 30 minutes away from tip-off.
It's one of the most exciting events you can be a part of, and I still say it's not the biggest rivalry in college basketball. It's the biggest rivalry in all of sport, bar none.
It's game time!
Okay, so Darryl, let's talk about Boozer, the Boozer twins. A lot of people feel like both of them, I mean, it depends on what happens to Caden, right? A lot of people think the Boozer twins are headed to the NBA. What would you say to that, Darryl, real quickly? Yes or no?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay, but if they both go, Duke has a massive hole to fill. Is that yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so can the 2026 class match the impact of the class from last year? And if Malone goes out there and just brings in some big dogs with his big war chest, could Duke actually be the underdog in terms of star power next year?
No.
What do you mean no? What do you mean no?
No, Duke's not going to be, they're not going to be the underdog. Duke is going to be Duke. They're going to be the brotherhood. They've been that, regardless of Final Four appearances, they've been that for the last few years. when it comes to star power.
No, we're not talking about the last few years, Darryl. What we're
When it comes
talking
to star
about
power, listen,
is 2026.
Listen, you're talking about, are they going to live up to what last year's team did? But hell, the team before that was even better. And it's funny you mentioned that Duke has a one and done problem. We don't know that yet. Duke might have a Jon Scheyer problem because that team that lost to Houston, that team wins the national championship if Jon Scheyer has an inbound play, right? This team right here, if they were coached up, the team that we just watched throw the ball at half court and lose a game on a game-winning shot, that team with a better coach probably can win, at least get into the Final Four. So I don't know if that conundrum you mentioned earlier is a one-and-done conundrum or if that is a Jon Scheyer problem. But to answer your question, I do not think that Carolina becomes the big dog, not this year, because Duke does nothing but produce star power, whether that be at the collegiate level or the professional level. And so
I'm not so sure, Darryl. Will,
where do you
think the lights are going to shine? Let's just say Malone does what he's supposed to do, and he brings in 3 7-footers, a long wing. Juke Harris comes over there. Where do you think where's the media going to be focused on?
ESPN loves Duke, so it'll probably
no. I think ESPN loves ratings. Okay,
that's true.
Okay, so the problem has been, Will, is that you haven't given ESPN anything to get excited about. You got an
NBA
NBA
would love
coach.
A great Carolina basketball team. They'd love it. They love nothing more than to see Carolina Blue doing well. When they were hot with Caleb Wilson, they were pushing them, but the quality, the star power hasn't been there aside from Caleb Wilson.
So if we come out and we make a run this year in the tournament with Malone, like we do what Hassan says, where we bring in this Slim Jesus from Finland, and we bring in Terrence Brown, and we bring in all these guys. Have you seen his highlight tape, by the way?
Now I'm gonna have to watch. You say Slim Jesus, I gotta watch him. The last one I remember was Shuttlesworth.
Mikko Murinen. The dude is a baller. His mom played basketball in the 90s at Carolina. He's trending towards It's between Carolina and Arkansas, and Chuck Martin, who was recruiting him to Arkansas, just joined our staff. So if we bring in 7-footers like that and Vassar comes back and we make a deep run, the seat's never been hotter for Jon Scheyer.
So let's say, Will, high-value targets like Juke and Caden Mingo actually come? I think Caden Mingo and Dylan Mingo are stepping back as decommits to explore how much more money they can get. I don't think that they're not coming to Carolina. I think they're just trying to get more money, right? I think they're stepping back to say, okay, well, who is this guy going to get before me and my brother commit? So I think if Malone can get Juke to land, I think Caden and Dylan come. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I think they're stepping back. I think you're right in that sense. I think they're stepping back to see how much money is given to these other guys. Because if Juke's worth $5 million or $4.5 million or whatever they're saying they're going to pay him, what's Dylan Mingo worth? I mean, unproven 5-star. He's still a 5-star and he's supposed to be a stud, but I mean, a guy like Juke is proven himself, so it's going to be interesting to see what those guys do. I'm not sure. I still think they're a package deal, and I don't think we're going to be able to afford both of them.
And then Maximo Adams, right? He's coming in too, right?
Yep.
So I think all these guys are like stepping out and saying, okay, well, you're not going to recruit off of me. I think they're saying, okay, well, let's see who he lands and who I get to play around. And I think if he can land some key recruits and get a commitment, I think he's going to have a landslide. Darryl, do you agree?
Are we comparing it to Duke, or are we?
No, I'm just comparing it to
just
Carolina.
saying in general.
Yeah, I think I agree. As I said last week, I love the hire. I think that Mike Malone can bring in first of all, bring in stars and develop players. As you mentioned, Will, with Nikola Jokic, I think that he helped him become who he is today. And so I foresee Carolina being back towards the top, below Duke, in a couple seasons.
Top below Duke. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Okay. And then listen, and then Malone can land a top 5 recruit.
For sure.
And Jon Scheyer could steal them. You don't know what Jon Scheyer's doing. Jon Scheyer could be having a conversation with Mingo right now.
True, he could. But where would
Wouldn't
Mingo?
that be a hell of a development?
Where would Mingo fit into that Duke roster?
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Because this roster, I mean, you can decommit anytime I could. If I'm a coach, I could decommit a player if I want to, right?
True.
This is not the old school recruiting. This is until you sign your deal, you're still at play. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about a portal war, guys. This is for both of you guys. If a top 3 center hits the portal tomorrow, who has the bigger NIL bag to land them, Durham or Chapel Hill?
I think it's Chapel Hill, and I don't think it's close right now. I think that with them losing everybody, with them letting, with players walking away and the Mingo decommit, I think that it's Chapel Hill. Right now they have a plethora of financial stability to be able to make that happen.
Will?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. It's Carolina, hands down.
Okay, 2022-6 prediction. Who is ranked higher in the preseason poll, Duke or Carolina?
Once again, it's not even close. It's Duke. I'm sorry, let me make it clear.
Darryl, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I don't know how you could think otherwise when Carolina literally doesn't have, but would you say, Will, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 player on the roster right now?
Yeah, but that could change tomorrow.
Yeah, it could, but that's a lot of predicting that we have to do, and I can't call me now Miss Cleo right now. So I think looking at the facts, looking at what's concrete at the moment, Duke has a better construction than Carolina. I don't know that means Carolina will be bad next year, but there's no way preseason wise that they'll be ranked higher than Duke.
Okay.
Preseason Duke's ranked higher. Carolina finishes the end of the season higher than Duke.
So here's what I think. I think if Malone is as good, if Malone can't land recruits this year with a big war chest, he ain't going to land them next year. I think if Malone can land them this year, there should be no problem with him getting the team and the players he wants, because that's his job. He's getting $10 million to convince kids to come play with him and go off to the NBA, right? It should be easy. Okay. Now let's talk about like Malone's staff. Did you see his staff, Will?
I love it. Yeah.
No, did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got a lot of outsiders on it, right?
Got a couple. There's a nice
they kept Sean May, they kept Pat Sullivan, but they have been demoted, and he's got his NBA guys right with him, right? So do you see like the Smith tree gone? And the other thing is, from the general manager's role, is Jim Tanner part of this?
Yeah, I think he's going to utilize Tanner quite a bit. You have to in today's game. You have to. We've talked about this before, and I think that I kind of disagree with you. I don't think that if he can't recruit this season, that means he can't do it next season. I think that if you look at the way that our recruiting class was set up, we had like the 26th best recruiting class. We've relied heavily, like Hubert relied heavily on the portal, and I think a lot of that was Tanner as well. We didn't have the money. The boosters kind of lost faith in Hubert as well. So now that we've got that, Jim Tanner can go in with NBA level coaches and all that, and a bag of money. I think that this is the ceiling is the roof, as Michael Jordan said.
Oh my God! Did you hear that, Darryl?
Yeah. I listen. Yeah,
I love it. I love how much you hate it. Is the thing. I love how much you hate that thing so much.
I think that we should start our own shit and just like the floor is the ceiling, because at this point with one player on the roster, that's what it's looking like for Carolina.
You keep saying one player on the roster, man. There's more than one player on the roster, and we've still got an entire off season to go. We've got a bag of money. We're talking to these recruits. I mean, Juke Harris already flipped his commitment. It's looking like us. 2 weeks ago, it was Michigan. This week, it's Tennessee. It could be Carolina. I mean, the fact that we're getting in on these conversations where we weren't before is huge.
Hey,
guys, the only
Juke
that Carolina's going to have right now is going to be under Bill Belichick. So That's
He needs
probably
to freaking go.
Okay, guys, let's talk about defense. Do you guys know that Brendan Malone, you know who Brendan Malone is?
No.
Yeah, no, I think we're both kind of
okay. No. So because I'm a little older than you guys, right? So Brendan Malone is Malone's dad, who invented the Jordan rules with the Detroit Pistons. Remember the thing called the Bad Boys, Dennis Rodman? Remember that?
Yeah, we know the Bad Boy Pistons now.
Remember the Bad Boy Pistons? Isaiah, Dennis, right?
Yes.
Vinny the Microwave. You probably don't know these guys, but Vinny the Microwave, remember those guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think Malone is going to bring that physical NBA style defense to UNC. And I think that Duke is going to have a problem because I think he's going to bring in men. I think he's going to bring in men. I think he's going to use the portal because he has to. And I think he's going to play his 5 stars alongside proven NCAA athletes. And he's going to make UNC tough again. What are your thoughts, Will?
I'm here for it, man. I would love to see it. He's known as an X's and O's guy. He's known as an offensive guy. But if he did kind of change the way we've been playing defense and bring some physicality and edge to it, I would be stoked.
And that physicality is going to fit into the rivalry because in previous years in the 90s, this rivalry was physical. I mean, coaches fighting, people. Well, Eric Montrose, the bloody nose, Tyler Hansborough.
Tyler Hansborough.
Broken noses. Like, I think that's where this is going. Darryl, are you ready for that?
Yeah. Listen, I think that there is as good of a chance as for me to be starting for Carolina next year than it is for Brendan Malone to rub off on Mike Malone to create a ferocious defense. I just don't foresee it happening. Like, the guys you're talking about are from 30 years ago. Tyler Hansborough's a smooth 20. I think that the era has changed. The game is different. And Mike Malone needs to bring his X's and O's on the offensive side of the ball and leave the defensive shit with Brendan Malone in the 90s and the 80s. I think that Mike Malone can come in and be successful. I've said this already numerous times, but I don't think it happens in the first year. And Carolina's going to have to give him at least a season to be able to recruit and add the 5-star guys that you're talking about, since he doesn't really have any at this point with Mingo decommitting. I think that he needs a year to be able to use that Riz, as the young guys would say it, to be able to bring in the right players and really create his system. But if they're expecting it year one with him 4 weeks into the job, 3 weeks into the job at this point, that's just, it's, I don't even have a word for it.
Well, Darryl, I think all he has to do is recruit 6 guys, 5 guys. He has the money.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Serve burgers and fries?
No, and what he needs them to do is play basketball. So if he recruits 2 or 3 guys from the portal with 2 or 3 5-star recruits that he lands, he has an NBA championship, NCAA championship caliber roster. It's not that hard. This is not football. This is basketball.
And Haas, what he brings to the table too is what you've talked about a lot for the last 2 or 3 years that we've been doing this is that New York edge that we used to have. He's a New York guy. He brings that, and Chuck Martin's from the DC area. He's from Baltimore. He's known to be a hell of a recruiter. He's the one who helped Calipari win D Rose when they was at Memphis. Like, these guys can bring in those dogs that we've been missing for the last 10 years.
Yeah, guys. All right. Well, listen, that's the wrap on the High Stakes episode 16. We looked at the bank accounts. We said Chapel Hill had the big bank, the boards, the battle for the 919, and it's a new world order. Jon Scheyer's recruiting machine is going ahead of Mike Malone's NBA blueprint. And the irony of the game is Brendan Malone invented the Michael Jordan rules, and now his son is tasked with bringing the Jordan rules back and Jordan's program back to the top. Whether Mike Malone, Jim Tanner can outmaneuver Duke's NIL engine is the story we're going to follow all summer. Guys, we're going to be back to talk about these rosters when these rosters come together. And if anything happens in between that, we're going to jump back on the pod and talk about it. But the thing that I love about NIL is the offseason, man, the offseason move, the awesome offseason chess pieces. This is exciting. Don't you guys agree?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. I love the freaking offseason now.
Yeah, we got an incredible offseason. And if you enjoyed today's debate, do us a favor, like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. If you catch any of Will's or Darryl's shorts on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, share them with a friend, share them, let them know that the rivalry is alive. Follow us on Instagram for all the clips from today's show. Guys, this thing is getting exciting. Darryl, I think you had 20,000 views last week, and I'm just looking forward to continue growing this show.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking for at least 20,000 more this week. I think with Will being a slightly better looking guy, maybe we can get like at least 5 more.
I don't know about all that now.
All right, guys.
I might hurt more than I help, man.
All right, guys. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but as we always say, what do we say? How do we end the show, guys?
We out.
We out.
TV podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, guys, these shows grow when you share them. So we have a great show here. Share them with all your friends. Make them aware of the Blue Blood TV podcast.
The handshake deals are a memory. The loyalty of the old guard, that's a luxury of the past. Welcome to the era of the arms race. In the 919, the battle for the future isn't just happening on the hardwood, it's happening in the bank accounts. Down in Durham, it's the machine, a proven system and the steady hand of Jon Scheyer reloading for another run. But in Chapel Hill, the blueprint has been ripped up.